Hi guys, welcome back. So I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I've just been trying to figure out how to get more onto YouTube and make things that are useful for you guys because there's so much videos out there. And yeah, so I was thinking I would start off with these breakdowns of how I tackle looking at reference songs and how I learn from these reference songs into my own approaches for arrangement. Because a lot of guys always keep asking me about like finishing music, and that's like the biggest part because everyone loves making the sounds, but the finishing is always the problem. And I feel like if you have a bunch of sounds, you can finish them because it's kind of like you created your own little sample pack or preset pack, and now you can just go crazy. But yeah, let's dive straight into the music. So we will be looking at Avalon, Another Dimension. This is one of my favorite tracks of Avalon, and I'll show you guys why and how I will start looking at this arrangement and how I perceive it. At the end of the day, you perceive music as your own way, so this is just how I see it. So first thing I look at when I'm looking at a track, I'm looking at the BPM. So this track is 146 and the key is G sharp, if I can remember. So for me, that already tells me in the space of full on, 146 is quite a driving tempo, where full on ranges more from 142 to 147. Like I say, BPMs also perception, all indicates what you think of yourself. But 146 for me in a full on space, I mean, it's quite driving. We're trying to get a high energy feel. And then G sharp on top of that is, so there's a theory that everything sounds good in G. And when you use sharp notes, you're adding a bit more energy to that feel good. So you got G, which sounds good, and then you got the sharp, which just adds just that extra pace, just adds a little more energy going up in the scale. So yeah, so now that really tells me the feel and the vibe that this track is gonna give us. And then just looking at the overall waveform, you can see there's not much breaks. So that's another thing that's telling us that this track wants us to dance. This wants us to keep going and push it and push it. So let's start. So what I like to do is I like to throw this ruler here on top, just so that I can see the length of the track in time. Most tracks are now 6 minutes 30, 7 minutes max. Shorter as well. I don't see much going into the 8-minute marks. And then I throw this arranger track on. You can throw whatever you want. It's more just a color sequence for myself to see what's going on. So immediately I look at this. I see this is the intro. So I'll just intro that. Okay, then I'll take a listen. Okay, so that's definitely the intro. And this little breakdown here. I'm not gonna dive too far into it. So I'll just now look at these kick and bass sections where I can see clearly kick and bass. So what I'll do is I'll classify each section in like the feel and energy. So I'll use red as like fire, like the hottest section. I'll duplicate this. And I'll use orange for a lighter section, and I'll use yellow. So this is going to indicate the energy of the track, starting from yellow, orange, red. So progressing to the hotness of red. Blue will indicate intros, breakdowns. It's cold, so less energy. So let's start listening. So immediately you have your progression. So that's your standard, how a track should start, just progressing. So then we just look at these breaks and see what happens. energy drops. And I don't mean energy as in like the energy of the track disappears. I'm just like, this is the most percussion playing, the most FM playing, everything's playing there. So that's where the highest part of the track is. So you hear that from this section to that section is quite a big jump. And then from this yellow to that orange is not that big a jump. So I'll just use something like that for now. Okay, we can do a little yellow half, orange half, then we're going back into our red section. So I'll give this a green because it's a breakdown, but it's not actually like a low energy breakdown. It's a breakdown, but something's different. So we're having actually like a build up. So when we split this section here, see, that's a build up, but it doesn't feel like this. And then we go. So we just quickly ran through that, and now you can kind of see the progression of the track and what it's trying to do. And as you can see, we have a lot of red spots. So that is telling us, you see how dominant the red is? It's more than the orange and the yellow basically. So it's telling us that we're going to be on our toes a lot. There's going to be a lot of percussion, a lot of leads playing. This track is going to try and keep you on the dance floor and keep you going. And the blue, very little. He's not trying to give you any breaks. He's trying to have you dance the whole time. And it's like you can learn so much from doing these with different arrangements. And I hope to do a lot more with these breakdowns, because every track has a different breakdown and every track's trying to do something different. And this track is telling us we want to dance, kick and bass go, percussion go, leads go. So that's kind of cool. My bad. Just didn't save that. Okay. So this is one way. So now I just looked at the flow of the track. Then if you want, you can dive deeper and you can start looking at percussion. Okay. So what I can do is I can just put this to the side. So that was just the flow of the track. Then what you can do is you can have a section where you start looking at kick and bass, percussion, what comes in where. So then we can use different colors. So here we'll use, let's go with light blue. Oh, pink. So these are going to represent percussion. So this will represent kick and bass. This will represent like a close hat and a snare maybe. This will represent the open hat. And this can represent the random, or let's say open hat, snare, close hats, just kick and bass. And it'll be easier to track what's going on in the track. Normally I put it in audio tracks just so that you can kind of see it better. But yeah. So immediately we see that kick and bass starts. 1 minute in, we already have our percussion. You can see quite quick. We have just kick and bass, and we have shakers coming in, and we have our snare. And everything's going here. Open hats, everything. Again. So this is going to look quite similar to our energy build, because percussion generally influences the energy of a track. Like, most people are dancing to the percussion and not really the effects and the leads and the kick and bass. That's why a lot of them call the leads and the effects ear candy, because they're just nice to listen to. But what gets you dancing is that percussion, that groovy percussion. That always, like, if your percussion's tight, people are dancing. Let's be real. So yeah, so that's just another general thing that I'll do if I want to start looking at percussion and drums and how fast they're coming into the track when they're getting taken out. So that's a nice little thing to do as well. Okay, so I'm trying not to make these videos too long, because you can dive really deep into arrangement and see things. So I'm just going to listen to the track and give you reasons to why I think he did certain things to add to what he's trying to achieve. Because obviously right now we've seen the flow and we've seen the percussion, and we realize he's trying to create a lot of energy. He's trying to keep the guys dancing. So let's see why he's doing that in the sounds he's choosing. So here we have a nice intro coming in, just a nice atmospheric thing, just to start the track off. Nothing interesting going on there. And then you hear this little synthy percussion. So yeah, it's quite fast. It's not like your normal generic percussion that goes dum to ch to dum, like, you know, like those build-up percussions. It's something like that feels a bit faster, almost like a Congo player or something. So I smoked this shit. He's trying to add energy immediately into the track and trying to get it going.
So I smoked this shit, and I'm literally immediately blown into the center of the universe, and I'm there, and I'm honestly watching all the information being sucked.
And then another trick is to speed up your tracks. You use vocals, but you use vocals where people are speaking faster. Or if you have a slower vocal, you can time stretch it to make them speak faster. Like, speaking faster makes your track feel faster as well, especially in build-ups. It's a really good trick. So when the track comes in, it's like, and then he's approaching, and now he's approaching. You've heard that like in a million tracks, but that's a really cool trick to speed up your track.
So I smoked this shit, and I'm through a black hole. It's all being sucked as data in several lines, being sucked. Understand the meaning of life, and I understand everything. I know everything.
You take this shit and literally you are transported into another fucking dimension.
Another thing is you all know normal tracks come in at 1 minute. He's like, no, 40 seconds we are in. We're not playing around. Another thing that's good is this cheer or chant. A chant is always really good to use as a calling. Like, call to the dance floor, call to the song. It's like a signal, come, things are starting. Lots of percussion. So this is one of my favorite tricks to use, is the shout. It's one of the most underrated things I think in energy control, is you use someone shouting before the drop and it goes into the drop, because the shout immediately lets you wake up. It's like, oh shit, someone's shouting, what's going on? And it's like a jolt of adrenaline before the drop, and now you get this jolt of adrenaline from the shout, and then you get the drop, which adds to the adrenaline, and it just like takes the impact of that just like way bigger. It's like, oh my word, it's just gotten way bigger. So another thing of really making a big impact is dynamic control. So you see how this waveform is so big, so much playing, and then you have your kick and bass here, not much playing. So the dynamics from this section to this section is so quick that your brain literally like is like whoa, like it's a whoa moment. So if you can have this huge energy created and then like immediately into nothing, it always works. It always works. It's like loud to nothing. It's like, and we all love kick and bass. Not playing around, we're back in it. Funky section in the middle. It's like a timeless classic. Because this track has a lot of, you see, it's quite energy filled. You need to fit in like a funky section to make it just to break this tension. Because you had people dancing for what? Let's see, what's that? A minute and a half. It's quite a long time to just be straight up dancing and like full power. So you always got to give like a funky section just to like let loose and break all that tension. And just keep the vibe going. Because he's having this funky section here, but you see he's gonna go straight back into it. He's like not playing around.
To another dimension.
So you had this funky section, right? And now you're feeling good, you're feeling happy, like the vibes are good. And then it's like, okay, let's get back to business. Like my body was having a funky time. Okay, now let's go. And we're back. I think Avalon does this the best. It's like, it's almost like a chorus of a pop song, but like in a trance version. He's like so good at bringing like the spot and the spot together. It's almost like the chorus of the track, but it's so difficult to do, and like if you can do it well, you always get like a really good track, because you have this moment of something that someone can remember in the song. So he just like introduces it at the beginning and he brings it back somewhere 3/4 middle way of the track, and it's just like, okay, same song. Especially because there's so much going on, it's just like, oh wow, it's still the same song playing. If I'm correct, with all this energy building up here, there's definitely gonna be a shout again, because the shout is just classic. So yeah, shout comes in, like don't underestimate the shout, and then he does this fake drop here, because like we've been dancing so much, so he's building the energy so high, so he gives you this fake drop of, oh my word, even more expectation. When's it coming? And it just is done so well.
You take it and literally you are
Shout.
You take it and literally you are transported into another fucking dimension.
And it's all the way home from there. Like, this track is so good. It's one of my favorites. It's done so well. And then he uses the chant at the end as like the closing of the song. Like, he called us in here somewhere. He called us in, and then he sent us home. Yeah, the chant in the beginning went up, and yeah, the chant at the end goes down. It's like full circle. This track's arrangement, like, it's well done. But yeah, I don't want to make this videos too long. I hope you guys enjoyed these breakdowns. I really want to do more of these breakdowns. Arranging is one of my favorite things to do. And if there's any tracks that you want me to look at in the arrangement and dive deeper, do you guys want me to dive deeper down into it, like, and get into the nitty-gritty, or just look at it from an overall space, like energy transfer, percussion transfer, small little things that just adds to the energy control? Or do you want to dive deeper and like look at how the sound design works and why sounds were chosen and where the sounds are placed? Like, we can go really deep if you want. I like this stuff. But yeah, let me know if there's any tracks that we want me to look at. I'm more in the full-on stuff, but I can look at anything. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this. You guys can give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. I'll see you guys next time.